right, give it up for Marisa.
Marisa, hello to those of you who I did not want to do that. For those of you who know me, for those of you who don't know me, I hope this is a good first impression. For my Zenith, I decided to do a documentary. So I'm just going to walk you guys through my process and kind of have you follow along. I hope you guys aren't too antsy from all the good stuff. So the first thing I did, because I knew I wanted to do a documentary, is I reviewed some of the documentaries that we watched last year in film class, including White Earth and Undercity. And then I did a little bit of outside research, and I watched this New York Times op-doc called Saltwater Baptism. And the things I noticed about these documentaries that I really, really liked were that the style in which they were filmed, they were kind of handheld, shaky cam, following the subject around, and they were also subject-based. Last year, my partner and I, for a documentary, did a location-based documentary, so this year I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to try not only a new filming style, but a new documentary style. And they were all observational. They were kind of fly on the wall. They kind of just like let their subjects do what they would, and I thought that was super interesting, so I wanted to try and emulate that. And I decided that for my documentary, I wanted to do a subject on a drag queen. I'm not really sure why. I think I just was like scrolling on Twitter and seeing like RuPaul's Drag Race and stuff, and I thought that was really, really cool. I really wanted to kind of explore that more niche element of the LGBTQ culture. For those of you who don't know what drag is, because I did get that question yesterday, it's when men dress as women and perform. It's very campy and over the top, and it's super interesting. And there's an entire TV series about it. So yeah. However, I didn't know who my subject was. I had no idea who to talk to get a drag queen, and I had an impending deadline. We had to pitch our Zeniths, and I wasn't really sure what to do. And I actually reached out to my dad. I didn't reach out. I was really stressed, and I was like, Dad, help. And he was like, oh, one of my coworkers actually has a lot of connections within the LGBTQ community. So like my dad to his coworker to an actual drag queen named Lulu Monroe, who's the subject that you will see later on in the future. So yeah, the first thing I did, well, I'm gonna go back actually. So the first thing I did in getting in contact with Lulu was actually meeting for dinner. We talked about my vision for the project. We talked about boundaries and what I could film, what I couldn't film. We talked about the logistics of me actually going to a drag show, because some are over 18, some are over 21, 17, so like don't tell tomorrow. Just kidding. So yeah, it was really, really interesting to just be able to sit down and talk to him. And I think it's super important for subject-based documentaries to have that face-to-face interaction, so you guys know each other and you have that trust and you have that kind of interpersonal relationship. Because if you just show up with a camera and you're like, hi, I'm filming, you're like, it's normally a little like off-putting. But if you have that dialogue, most people are willing to have their lives documented because it's cool. Like, who doesn't want to have their life on film? So yeah, the first thing we did in the actual process of filming is I went with George, his name, to his storage unit where he keeps all of his drag clothes, all of his props, all of his everything. A lot of his shows are self-done, like everything's himself. He builds all his props and stuff. So it was really interesting to see. His license plate even says Lou ×2. His name's Lou Monroe. He's very at the top. So later that day, we went on to his actual show. It's called Woo Circus. It happens twice a month at the venue, and I kind of just got to see his process of not only setting up the show, but how he got ready. He had me run to Target and get thank you cards for his drag queens because he pays them. And so it was just a really fun process, and I got to charge my camera battery while I went to Target. So yeah, I filmed a lot on a 50mm lens because I wanted to have that kind of like dreamy, close-up, kind of pretty, for lack of a better word, effect on my shots. So that was interesting. Yeah, so I spent the day, and the next time I saw him was a week later, I want to say, and I went to his house. And I got to learn a little bit about his professional life, which is something that I think made this documentary a little bit more unique. It wasn't just about drag queen, it was about kind of the intersection of his two personalities, these two different parts of his life. So he's a sheriff. He has a very nice smile. He's very kind. And then he cleans guns, which is really cool. I just wanted to include this because it seemed kind of like badass. But he has a bunch of guns. It was funny. He's a really cool guy.
I show up at work about 6:30. I get into uniform. We go to start working on our paperwork. We have to do physical rounds at least every half an hour to see if everything's going smoothly, make sure nobody's having any issues. At the end of the day, everything gets locked back down. That's a typical day. It's just making sure that at the end of the day, everybody is alive and well, and all of my coworkers and myself get to come home safely. It was never about getting to shoot guns, and that wasn't what it was about for me. It was about helping people, making sure that my community that I live in is safe. I think I have a work ethic that is really strong. I think that is something that carries over into my drag quite a bit. Everybody's wearing drag. You put on drag when you get up in the morning, whether you're wearing a suit or a nice dress, t-shirts and jeans, that's drag. It's all drag. That command presence, whether I'm on stage or whether I'm at work, comes from the same place. You have to be able to take over and say, this is what's going to happen, to have the outcome that you want and make sure that things are rolling smoothly. It's okay. It's just drag. And I always say, you're in drag right now. Your uniform is drag. I've always been very fascinated with a little more avant-garde styles of drag, avant-garde fashion. But I was in New York City a long time ago, and I was on the subway, and this amazing statuesque bald woman came on the train, and had to be 6'3", and just this beautiful, shiny, bald head, and she was wearing fake eyelashes that were just bold and gorgeous, and I couldn't not look at her, and that always stuck in my mind. I was fascinated with the idea that a woman can still be beautiful and be bald at the same time, and when I started performing drag, I thought, you know what, I want to do bald drag. I like to do more performance art kind of drag, so I like my performance to tell a story. When I walk on the stage, my energy level just automatically jumps up 10 notches. Like even when you're not on stage, you can get away with some things that you can't when you're not in drag. I love the aspect that I get to play a character, and it's a character that I don't get to play in my day-to-day life. Drag is important because it transcends gender stereotypes. It's not male, it's not female, it's not masculine, it's not feminine. It's celebrating life. It's celebrating not only beauty, but life, and making fun of life a little bit too. My name is George Downs, and my drag name is Woo Woo Monroe.
Reach out to everyone. If you're looking for a specific subject, then go find it. You never know. My dad is the last person I would expect to be a connection to a drag queen. So ask as many people as you can if you have something in mind. And then be communicative when you find a subject. Just talk about their boundaries, what they're willing to share, what they're not willing to share. Because George and I had a lot of actual personal conversations, and we just got to know each other. Well, I have more so him because he's an adult. So, just be communicative, form those relationships, because ultimately it is a creative project that you're working on, and having those different ideas and different perspectives are super interesting to build like a more genuine and really strong piece. Be prepared. Bring extra batteries, bring a microphone, bring a friend if you want. My battery died a couple times, so that was frustrating. I got to watch the show, which was cool, but it was a little frustrating. And another thing that I will add on that I did not put here is my documentary was pretty short. I had probably like 2 hours worth of interviews, but I didn't have that much B-roll just because I was unable to get actual footage of the jail and stuff like that he works in. So just be mindful of what you want to do and what you want to have. It's frustrating to not be able to make the product that I really wanted to. I think it turned out pretty okay. But just keep those things in mind. So yeah,